Today we have a special vehicle modification episode for you. We're going to be installing one of these sweet tables on the rear door of this Ineos Grenadier. Now, the Grenadier is fairly new, but already manufacturers are starting to come out with the drop-down tables that you see on Jeep Wranglers and Toyotas. We've got one here for the Grenadier today. It's from Bison Gear Overland. And we're going to tell you what we like about the table, but more than anything, we're going to show you how to install this. And in typical big-time guy fashion, our install may vary a little bit from what the manufacturer recommends. So this table that's going to get installed requires that you take out all the bolts on the plastic that's covering the rear door. Those are torque set bolts. We'll go ahead and take those out, and actually this table can fit over the plastic, but we're going to try to install it without fitting over the plastic and just remove the plastic entirely and see how that looks. Don't know if that's going to be a good installation or not, but it's certainly something we want to try. So one thing I like to do is when I'm installing anything, I like to go ahead and get places to catch my hardware, bins and everything else, so that I put my hardware exactly where I need it. I'm going to use this impact driver. I'm just going to kind of back them all out. These should come out pretty easy. Impact drivers are great for removing things, maybe not always the best for installation, but hopefully we can turn the settings down low enough that this isn't going to be a problem today. The last two bolts. The Grenadier is able to get a table from the factory, but this one optioned without to see what the aftermarket was going to come out. And hey, there we have it. We're into the Grenadier. So I kind of want to keep as much open space in here as possible, and we'll show you on the Rufus cam what this looks like. But this door is definitely made to take some weight. So I would be kind of into leaving that open, even though that was not necessarily Bison's intention. So we're going to see if this works out to our favor. And then we'll come through and see how we can use some of these bits of space. GP Factor makes a table, they use the space. On the Bison one, you can use the plastic space, but I want to see if we can use it on a little custom. So, we've got a trim ring here. That trim ring would go around. I imagine that trim ring go around first and space out what the door is. So I kind of want to leave it open. I mean, I know that's not the design, but that's what I think we're going to try to do. So this is about as simple bolt-on installation as it gets. For working by myself, I could probably, and we'll see how this works. I've got this scissor table that I like to use. Just kind of helps me get it close to where I gotta go. If I don't have another set of hands to hold it up. Let's see here. See if we can get it close enough without messing up the vehicle. That's always a challenge. Such a big scissor table. Looks like we're close. So the question is, will that trim ring compensate enough to get this table flat? That's what that trim ring does. So I know it's not intended to be installed this way, but I think we might be all right. Now, they sent new hardware that's longer because their intention was to go through the plastic and go through the trim ring. But my intention is to not do that. My intention is to put the trim ring on and have it replace the plastic and see if this will work. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to stick one of their longer bolts through here while I kind of like line stuff up. One thing that's always a smart idea when you're working with impact drivers and you got to get bolts started is to have manual tools. Now, if this doesn't work as designed, that'll be okay. I may make my own spacer plate here. But so far, looks like we're gonna be okay. Let's just see if this is going to work out for us, or we're going to have to put the plastic trim back on. Well, it needs a little bit of a spacer here, but I think it's going to be okay. Like I said, I know this isn't exactly their intention. How's that? I like the idea of getting all this space and then kind of making my own custom thing to do with it. And you can always change it around later. So, I'll get the Rufus cam up. You can see right here where we're going to be just a little shy of flush. We got just a little bit of a gap. So let's see if that's an issue. Although if they put some holes in this trim ring, we were in good shape. I don't know why they didn't do that. All right. Well, let's keep on working. So I'm not impacting hard here. I'm going to do the final tighten with a socket wrench. this is going to be fun. I don't like that trim ring is out there. I'm going to drill a hole, mold that trim ring in, and maybe put another spacer in. But I just think this is going to be okay. Let's see why I wouldn't. And now I've got all this space to work with. And I'll figure out some things to do with this space. I mean, this is, I don't mind seeing it. And you get the most bang for your buck here. Tighten up here. It's not what they intended, but I think this is okay. So, why did we go with the Bison table? The Bison table's got a couple neat features. It's got a multi-panel that we can put some things on with holes, which is nice, because then you can hard mount things. And then it's only got one retention, which I think is great. And we liked it because it has a lot of surface area. It really takes full advantage, and there's no lips. So maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing, but the fact there's no lips is helpful. And, you know, the pull-out is nice. Little extension. I'm not saying it's better than the other tables. It just, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more stout and a little bit better thought out. Now we get all this room in here that we can do all kinds of interesting things with, which, big fan there. So big time, guys. I'm gonna drill a couple holes in this frame. I'm going to put a spacer in here to bend this out just ever so slightly. Put a spacer right back here just to get our space. You can see we're just missing just a little bit. And then I'm going to call this table project good. And maybe I'll decide I don't want to see this all the time. And I don't want things getting down in my door. But for the time being, man, there's some great mounting holes in here. I think I'm going to keep this just like it is to try to get as much out of it as possible. So, Bison Gear, thanks for a great table. I know you didn't intend the big time guys to use it like this, but I think it's going to work out well for us, and really looking forward to using it in the field.